One of the things that most surprised me and excited me was how much innovation you do in partnership with your customers.
Yep.
Like, truly, that's not just a sales line. I could see with is it called Extend?
Yep.
That what they were doing with Extend, I could hear people talking about what they were doing with it. So much of all of the keynotes, all of this talking points were about how much the customers feed back into the innovation. So I thought that was really great, and it sounds like that's like what you do day in and day out.
Yeah.
Are there anything that customers are saying or asking for that's surprising, or is it really kind of coming together with what you intended it to be?
This term AI seems to have dominated our industry at least for the last 18 months. When ChatGPT kind of sprang onto the scene in January or February of last year, I feel like it's had just a tremendous impact on what the expectations are, the hope for what it can do from an impact perspective, and that seems to be the center. But we've really taken a mindset at Workday of something we call 3X innovation, where the Extend platform that you're speaking of really becomes this enabling factor to enable us to kind of have a 3-tiered approach to innovation and product development. The first is what we call Built by Workday, which is our 8,000 plus product and technology people building capabilities into the core platform. It's also built on Workday, where we leverage our partner ecosystem as a key enabler of building more focused solutions for maybe industry or geography. And then the third really is what you're getting at, which is the customer piece, which is really built for customer, right? Really letting them use that tool set to kind of fill in around the edges. If there's something very specific that's a need area for their business, they can build that on Extend, leverage the security, the business process model, all the goodness of Workday, our AI foundation, as just a key tool set to build some of those things. So we really try to look at that broad ecosystem of players as we look at innovation and try and partner to deliver amazing things for our customers.
Yeah, and that's really exciting, because one of the things that seems to be a theme is not just throwing tech at something, but putting tech towards a problem. And when people tell you, hey, this is our problem, this is what we need, it makes for such a useful product for them, and if they need it, someone else needs it, right? So it's kind of an interesting
And
ecosystem.
I grew up as a practitioner and kind of all over the HR space. And I mean, if I look at our industry today versus 20 years ago, 30 years ago, as much as things are different and we've evolved, really there's a lot that's still the same. And a lot of those nagging, manual, spreadsheet-based processes are still here. And I really see Gen AI as this huge opportunity in order to finally get rid of a lot of, some of those legacy manual things. And I have a lot of hope for where we can go with this, that now is the moment where we can truly transform a lot of those things and get to automation, get to assistance, get to intelligence, really guide people through technology, and just do the next wave of cool stuff that's due. It's so long overdue.
Yeah, you think when we're here in, let's say, 5 years, the role of HR people will be different, or do you think, you're nodding yes, like what do you think, when you look ahead to that, like what do you think their daily life will be like that's changed because of the progress we're making now in technology?
I'll put it this way, I'm very hopeful. I see profound potential in this next wave of innovation. But looking back at other movements like cloud, like, move to mobile, I look at kind of the spectrum of how people will adopt it. And you're obviously going to have those on the bleeding edge that want to take full advantage of every aspect of it. And then those on the back edge that just, come along kicking and screaming. And I look at it as the role of all of us in technology to kind of pick up that whole pile and move it forward.
Well said.
Help the bleeding edge innovate their brains out, and pull along the laggards and help them to adopt and take advantage of the movement. And I think we'll be better because of all of it. And there'll still be a broad spectrum of, success stories with the whole thing.
And truly, with millions of users, the enterprise system that Workday offers is going to be, for many people, one of their main touch points with this technology.
Yeah.
Even what they do in their personal life.
With everything, I try and be, I'm a Workday advocate. I want all of our customers and prospects to use as much of the platform as humanly possible. But I also look out where we are, and I look at all the innovation that's happening here. And I think a really effective strategy is to, double down on your investment in the core, really do as much as you can within your core platform. And I hope that's Workday, right? And then actually take advantage of some of the innovation that's here, for some of those fringe use cases where you can do some things that are on that bleeding edge of innovation. I'm a big proponent of that. I think there's a lot of other vendors here, that have space and partnership with Workday and, in conjunction with Workday. And I see so much opportunity here in all that's going on. It's really cool to be here.
That's actually something I want to ask you about, is integration. And I know obviously Workday integrates with all kinds of different partners. And I think that that's an area that could have a lot of potential for customers, because like you said, there may be a certain point solution they really want to pull in.
Yeah.
And I think that can set a lot of people's mind at ease to know, like, integration is something that's out there. It's always developing. If you could speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. We look at it in kind of two capacities. One, we actually have a very broad partner network and partner ecosystem. And Workday actually plays a very strong role in making sure that those integrations are badged and certified and they work, and it works seamlessly together. But our customers actually have the tools in the toolkit to integrate to whatever they want. And if they have the wherewithal, to invest the energy to make that happen, all those tools are there.
I see.
And whether it's our integration framework, our AI gateway as part of the Extend platform, all of those things were created in aim of supporting extensibility, which is, hey, there's a lot of this stuff and you're going to want to wire it together.
Yeah.
And as long as you take that mindset that you want to make sure that data gets back to your central repository to Workday, and Workday's kind of that center of the universe, I think you can do tremendous things, right? And we for a number of years kind of had a little bit more of a closed mindset from that perspective. And a handful of years ago made that conscious decision to say, let's open up, we've got to embrace the world as it is evolving, and we really want to be that center of the universe and make sure that all that data is here in order to leverage AI to produce the recommendations, to do the matches, to empower the intelligence. And I think everybody is better because of that approach.
It's true, because the data is really the key to making anything happen. And
in today's day and age, it's all about the data. Yeah.
And
all
either we can take for granted that the data is reliable, which would be a perfect case to have it actually be, or they know when they're working with a trusted partner like Workday, they've got that already set up. So,
and we've even looked at, whether it be our Workday Ventures arm or very strategic partnerships, there's ways in which we want to be able to augment data and give you that power to look at third-party sources, look at ways in which you can augment your data set. So we've gone to great lengths to source and create some of those investments and partnerships, because we recognize the power of that data, and the more that you can strengthen your own data set and have augmented profile data, or even third-party kind of labor statistical data, married into what you have in Workday, it lights our ML on fire. It makes some of that stuff so much more robust, and we've just being open to that type of mindset's been critical to drive that overall success of what we're doing.
And when you're out talking with your clients, do you find that data has really changed the ability of HR leaders to do their job?
Oh, 100%. And I think people have always recognized that. And they've often made what I would kind of call offhand excuses, like, oh, our managers are bad. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in order to help us get the data, or our workers are uninvested, or and there's a lot of different flavors of the excuse. And I think the really innovative leaders have realized that more data, the quality of the data, the access to the data, being able to tell stories with that data really changes the game. And I think everybody needs to follow along with that mindset, because the more you can inform what you want to do with really where you're at today, and color that with what you aspire to do, makes that path clearer between those two deltas, right? And it, even just thinking of like skills data, if I have a clear understanding of what I have, and I have a clear understanding of what I need, my build by borrow strategy becomes so much more executable, right? I can recruit the right way, I can, develop the right way, I can even partner, with contingent workforce in a much more impactful way. And it takes out waste, and it just makes it so much more efficient and optimized.
I just heard Don Robertson speak. He's the CHRO of Northwestern Mutual, also a client of Workday, customer. And he said that he found that being able to have data, how do you put it, refuted the anecdotal arguments, like you were saying. Like, it's like, oh really? You really meant to do that? Well, here's what the numbers are saying. We're not making that happen yet. And then he would start a conversation based on that. So I thought that was a really nice phrase, like, you can't anecdotally argue me because I've got the data. Yeah,
that's great leadership. Nothing has killed an HR initiative quicker than digitizing the data and putting it in front of people and having them look at it and go, well, that's not right. I mean, that's like the death of your HR program. And just having that mindset to really push for quality and make sure that you have end users and workers engaged, and they're validating that what they have is correct, and even you're being creative and looking at some of these ways in order to leverage third parties in order to augment your data. I mean, I think you can take your programming really to the next level and do amazingly special things.